political landscape is heating up, and it's all coming down to who is pro-crypto and who is not. Today, we're going to break it down for you guys to give you an idea of how this is going to affect digital assets going forward. You do not want to miss it. My name is Paul Barron. Welcome back into Tech Path. Before we get started, thank our sponsor, and that is iTrust Capital. Let's go into a crypto IRA. All you have to do is go over to their website, itrustcapital.com, and you can start your own crypto IRA. It's self-directed, so you get to manage it all. It's very easy to do. No monthly fees. You only pay on your trades, which you are in full control of. And here's what you can put in there: Bitcoin, Ethereum, altcoins, gold, silver. A lot of options here, so check it out. Use our link. It's going to give you a $100 funding reward to get things going. All right, let's go into a couple of things that have been happening in the elections. And the interesting thing is the landscape. Who's playing, what's winning, what's not working, what is working. We're going to lay it out for you. Here's Katie Porter. This is one of the big ones that, of course, is at the forefront of what's happening with this kind of battle of the good versus evil. Now, I'm not saying that she's an evil candidate, not at all, but she is anti-crypto. And the whole point behind Katie Porter is, if you think about her positioning, she was going against a guy by the name of Adam Schiff. This is in California. Now, Adam Schiff, here's him. He is very strongly supportive of crypto. Now, you're going to note some statements right there on his front of his website. He's talking about, implementing and growing these industries, including blockchain, Web3, all that good stuff. Now, full disclosure is he is supported by and lobbied by Coinbase. And Coinbase is going after a strategy to restructure how the pro-crypto candidates are going about, because this is really what's going to make changes in Congress today. I want to go to this clip from the Young Turks. They're talking a little bit more about how this happened. Listen in.
Last night, Representative Adam Schiff finished first in the primary election. It's also worth noting that Adam Schiff engaged in some political maneuvering to essentially prop up the one Republican candidate in order to, essentially make, in his mind, the general election, which will happen in November, a lot easier. Now, others who are running against him included Democrat Katie Porter, which is why he focused on uplifting a Republican. That's actually not what this segment is about. It's about how the crypto community got involved and also worked real hard to crush Katie Porter, but not Adam Schiff. Schiff raised nearly $32 million for the Senate run, a staggering sum that's nearly 2 times the number of any other Senate candidate in the country this cycle. So the crypto industry super PAC, Fairshake, spent more than $10 million opposing Porter's campaign. Fairshake's top donors include the crypto exchange Coinbase, crypto firm Ripple Labs, venture capital firm Andreessen Horowitz and its founders, and the Winklevoss twins. And the advertisements that began airing on social media platforms and on television in February make no mention of crypto. Instead, they paint Porter as a fake and an accomplished actor. They're all actors, okay?
So Anna's not too happy about this. And again, this is part of the political landscape that happens across all of these campaigns. What is interesting about this is that the ads that they ran against Porter were actually true. Listen in.
So let's look at those claims one at a time.
Katie Porter takes her campaign cash directly from Big Pharma.
That is true.
Big Oil.
This claim is true.
And the big bank executives.
Again, true, but that $2,900 donation is from the 2021 election cycle from the now former president of that company. So who paid for this ad? Fairshake is a political action committee with a website saying they are committed to, quote, the next generation of internet and helping blockchain developers with a, quote, clearer regulatory and legal framework.
All right, so just so everybody understands, Fairshake is a super PAC that is focused on this, and this has been something that I think is well aware, everybody's aware of this, and it's just like any other lobbying group. I think the key is this time around, the crypto industry, the blockchain industry has learned how to play the game with the best of the best out there. And I think that's one of the things that has kind of set the landscape a little bit more on an even scale. So we're going to see a lot more of these kinds of antics, I think, out there in the elections this year. Remember, this is the year we have, I think it's 33 seats that are up for grabs. And if we get those seats, this will be a different kind of regulation period once we get past the November election. So a lot happening for sure. I want to go to another clip right here because this is also TYT talking about other candidates. Listen in.
Crypto got involved in other races this cycle as well, including spending more than $1.7 million backing Shomari Figueres, a House candidate in Alabama who finished on top. In Texas, State Representative Julie Johnson, who benefited from just shy of $1 million in spending from the crypto PAC, and is leading the Democratic primary to replace Representative Colin Allred, though the race hasn't yet been called with 44% of votes in. And the race has been called. Johnson won. Yay, money in politics.
Investors.
So I like it, the fact that we're actually getting blamed for doing what the rest of the political landscape has been able to do for, I don't know, decades. So it's interesting. Now, we still have a lot of work ahead of us. We're basically taking out the swamp. We're taking out the old, bringing in new ideas, people that understand where blockchain and Web3 is going. And I think that's the good thing. But you still have the big kahuna out there, and that is Warren. Listen into this clip.
In our financial system, pretty much everybody follows the same set of rules. I'm talking banks and credit unions and credit card companies, gold traders and stockbrokers. Private equity now has to follow the rules. Precious metal dealers, Venmo, Western Union, but not crypto. My view of the world is same kind of activity, same kind of risk, should have the same regulation.
Perry, and she told me she just wants to level the playing field. Would this legislation do that?
Where do we even start here? I mean, Senator Warren is literally the queen of political theater. What is she even talking about? Same risk, same regulation? Of course, we agree with that. And that's exactly what we currently have. Senator Elizabeth Warren has misled the U.S. Congress and many of the American people through the way she is communicating how cryptocurrency is regulated today. As you know, she has a bill that we're calling an effective ban on cryptocurrency. 19 members of the Senate are currently sponsoring that bill. We've met with all 19 of those offices, and many of those offices were shocked to learn that cryptocurrency businesses are regulated as money service businesses the exact same way that remittance providers like your Venmo and MoneyGram and PayPal are. Companies are where you go to buy and sell cryptocurrencies. These are at exchanges. You can now buy cryptocurrency through PayPal and the Cash App. All of these companies where you do the exchanging, so to buy and sell cryptocurrency or anything else, they're regulated as money service businesses. They are registered with FinCEN under the U.S. Treasury, and they are subjected to the Bank Secrecy Act. There is not a gap. That is just misinformation, and shame on her for doing that. She does know the difference. This is a political attack on Bitcoin and on cryptocurrency, and we must hold our elected officials accountable.
And I think that's the thing. We are seeing now the fact that you have, and everybody understands how political jargon is done. They kind of put up what is, in most cases, half-truths, much like Warren. Warren has been on record many times getting, and we've done it here on our channel. We've shown a lot of these hearings where she just kind of has her agenda and completely ignores the facts. So that is something that Perry Ann was talking about there. Totally on point, totally in agreement. But the way to beat them is to go grassroots. And I think that's what we've seen with Fairshake. Now, another thing that I want to get into is why is all of this happening? This is talking about Bitcoin being inflation proof. Listen in.
Americans, what is their number one issue? Poll after poll says it's inflation. And Bitcoin in particular is inflation proof. It has a limited supply. You can't print more. And so why do we have politicians trying to take this option off the table that would protect Americans from inflation at a time when they need that protection most? And that's why we have so many people around the country who are running on pro-Bitcoin and pro-crypto platforms. You have Bernie Moreno in Ohio is one. You have in Pennsylvania, Senator Casey. He's one of the 19 who wants to ban cryptocurrency. His challenger, McCormack, just came out pro-cryptocurrency. Elizabeth Warren has a challenger, John Deaton.
So a lot happening there, and I think the key here is remember, and this is kind of one of the things that I think is a little bit, kind of two-faced here in the sense of, well, hey, it's okay. You still have securities and bonds and gold and all these other things you can invest in, Mr. Voter. Don't worry about digital assets over here because it invades on the political landscape that kind of controls our business, being the banking system. You don't really need that one to control inflation. I think that's the problem that people are starting to understand. Now, the key here is how do we convince the next administration to kind of go in this direction? Listen to what they have to say.
There's a lot of talk about Donald Trump and what's his current state on crypto. And the truth is we don't actually know what his stance on crypto is. And I would caution people to think he might be a strong proponent of digital asset technology. During the Trump administration, they didn't have a very good track record. The SEC, Trump under the Trump administration blocked spot Bitcoin ETFs, just like Chairman Gensler did. Secretary Mnuchin, the Treasury Secretary, tried to outlaw self-hosted wallets, which led to us being involved in legal action with the U.S. Treasury to prevent some devastating requirements on this technology. And then President Trump himself put out a statement saying he was not a fan of Bitcoin or cryptocurrency. So we are calling on Donald Trump to issue a clear statement on his position of digital assets and cryptocurrency, because as of today, it's not clear.
Yeah, so this is a big deal, guys. If you are getting out there and you're politically active, you need to be thinking about this. Whether you're a Trump voter or you're a Biden voter, it doesn't really matter. I think the key here is winning the congressional votes, but also just getting the president, whoever that's going to be, Biden or Trump, or whoever the Democrats put up, to understand digital assets are the future. This is one thing that we've got to do. So whichever campaign you might fall into, what I would say, start pushing it out there. Let's get their opinion on where this is going, because unless we know, we can't really understand where they might stand. I like what Coinbase and many of the supporters of Fairshake are doing, and that is going grassroots, getting into Congress seat by seat, because that's what it's going to take going out there. Make sure and stand with crypto. This is not an ad. Coinbase does not pay us to do this. Full disclosure. This is just us helping to support the digital assets industry. Look at that number right now, donated by crypto advocates. 86,350,000 crypto advocates right now. There's the policymaker contacts that we've got to be able to reach. This is a big deal. And it's also reshaping the form of how our legislature is going to be conducted maybe over the next decade. So a lot is at stake right now. If you guys want to learn a little bit more about that, you can also go all the way into recent activity. These are people that are joining, top donations, a lot happening out there for sure. Last up is one more clip of why we're doing this. Why does all this really matter, Paul? Why? Well, listen in.
You also, I'm sure, as a 5-member commission and as the staff are going to be considering in recent months, because you are facing a deadline coming up in May around a spot Ethereum ETF.
It is, Kaylee. You had to get your crypto question in. I do have to ask this question. Of course, we are now about 2 months into a world in which spot Bitcoin products exist. They have had incredible demand, more than $8 billion in inflows. Now the optimism is Ether spot ETFs are next. Do you not first have to settle the question as to whether Ether is a security or a commodity? Can you answer that first? Well, Kaylee, again, on any one of these crypto tokens, it's about the facts and circumstances as to whether the investing public is anticipating a profit based on the efforts of others. But we do have filings in front of us. I'm not going to comment. I will say this is a highly speculative asset class. One could just look at the volatility of Bitcoin in the last few days. And look, I grew up loving roller coasters. Maybe in my adult years I don't ride them as much, but you really should be conscious as the investing public that this is a bit of a roller coaster ride on these volatile assets. And then the question is how firm is the foundation of the, you get to the top of that hill, how's the foundation underneath it? And are there cash flows, or what's the use case? For thousands of these tokens, there's about 15 or 20,000 of them,
They also may be securities because the investing public is relying on the efforts of some group of entrepreneurs in the middle of these projects.
And would you consider Ether as part of that group that may be securities?
I understand you're asking the question, but again, I'm going to defer on that question.
All right, so she asks about ETH. He can't answer. He goes off and says, thousands of others, roller coaster ride, telling his story. Reality is that, we're going to be dealing with these kinds of innovations. And it's the same way that technology has innovated, and it disrupts. We've seen mobile innovate, it disrupts. Social media has innovated, and media, it's disrupting. And we're now at the precipice of finance being disrupted, and it's going to be blockchain. Whether you like it or not, Mr. Gensler, it's going to happen for sure. All right, if you guys are not in on the Diamond Circle, get in now. It's another place to get additional content. You can join our new Telegram group. It's very easy, but you have to be in the Diamond Circle, so click the link down below. Catch me on X, @PaulBaron. We'll catch you next time right here on TechBath.